All right, so I haven't done a Q&A in quite some time, so let's do this. Sorcerer asks, how's your life going? I'm a new viewer, so I don't really have a whole lot of understanding oftentimes, so I just want to know more about you. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good day too, Sorcerer. Life's going good. It's going really, really good. It's been a lot of stuff going on. I'm doing game dev stuff during the day, and then at night, I'm doing a lot of streaming stuff, making videos like this at 1 a.m. because, you know, it's just how it is. Me and Emmy a year ago just bought this house, and it's kind of crazy to even say that was a year ago, but I think we have reached the 1 year mark on that. And it's just a lot of adulting, I guess. Like a lot of, oh man, we got to pay the mortgage. Oh man, we got to balance this. We got to balance that. It's just been a lot of things going on. But overall, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. And I really, really wanted to make more conversational type YouTube videos again. And so that's kind of like the vibe right now is I want to make some content in my free time, kind of like how I used to, where we actually talk to one another, viewer to streamer or creator, right? And this is one of those first steps to doing so. So I'm pretty excited about that. King asks, what are your top 3 games that came out this year and why? This is such a good question because all I've wanted to do on this channel lately is talk more general about gaming. Just talk about the widespread gaming industry, things that are going on, things that I like, things that I'm enjoying, kind of how we do on stream all the time. We kind of play everything, right? And man, this is such a good one because there's been so many amazing video games this year. It's just been nuts. But I would say top 3, let's go with number 1 right out of the gate that came out this year. Probably the first one that I was like, wow, that blew me away. Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom was just absolutely amazing. It was such a breath of fresh air, no pun intended, from Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was a really, really good game. I really, really liked it. But Tears of the Kingdom sort of just like showed me, oh my God, that felt like a prototype. That felt so much less impressive than what this game is doing. And we all thought Breath of the Wild was impressive. I don't know how they managed to do that in terms of mechanics and what you do and where you explore and the discovery feeling. It's just, oh, like the fact that you can just solve any puzzle doing all sorts of different things with your building, with your crafting. It just made that game like wide open in terms of every player's experience. And I just absolutely love that. And the story, I love the story and the little things that they had in there, especially towards the end. It made me tear up many times. Tears of the Kingdom made me tear up. And so, yeah, it's definitely one of the top ones this year. So moving on to my second favorite game this year, again, not in any particular order here, but Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 came out a little bit after Zelda, and my God, what an absolute experience that was for me. I can't even explain to you guys. Well, you've seen the content. You know how many videos I posted about Final Fantasy 16, and more specifically, just the boss fights of 16. Crazy, crazy. It keeps me up at night. I think about those boss fights over and over and over and over again. And Final Fantasy 16, if you've never played a Final Fantasy game before, you can play pretty much any of them because they're all like unique experiences, and you know, it doesn't really connect with any other game. They're all like their own world, and just the world building, the story, and everything of 16, the music, the action combat, absolutely loved, top notch. And then of course, just like I said, the boss fights, like going up against, you know, Bahamut fight. I'm just gonna say it, okay? The Bahamut fight was ridiculous. Like it was one of the best things I've ever experienced in a video game, and I'm not even being hyperbolic with that. Just the absolute spectacle and the way that the music and the spectacle and the action and the combat all come together. It just reminded me like, yeah, this is why I love video games. This is it. This was made for me. It feels like something I would have played as a kid. And, you know, I've said that time and time again on this channel if you've seen that content. So Final Fantasy 16 for sure is one of them. And then number three is gonna be a weird one if you haven't seen any of the streams lately, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2, okay, listen, it looks weird, and it is weird, but you need to play this video game. Like, you need to play this video game. There are so many things that happen in Alan Wake 2 where I was just like, yep, okay, no other video game has ever done this before. Okay, that is wild. I didn't expect that. And just the entire way that the Remedy-verse, that Remedy Entertainment has been building over the last couple of years with Control and the original Alan Wake, and even a little bit of Quantum Break in there too. A lot of these games that I've loved, I've been very passionate about. They're very like hardcore story, and I love story. Those games all building up to this one, and just this one being survival horror and being more like Resident Evil in terms of the gameplay, but also just so true to Remedy's unique game creation. I don't know the best way to describe a Remedy game, but if you've played a Remedy game, you know how they feel. There's just such a really cool direction with Alan Wake 2. I really hope in some ways it gets awards for best game direction this year, because they had a vision, they went for it, they weren't scared to go after it, and they absolutely nailed it. And it's probably my favorite survival horror game I've ever played. And again, a top contender for me this year as well. So that's my top 3: Zelda, Alan Wake 2, and then Final Fantasy 16, my beloved. I loved all 3 of those games, and those are the 3 that I'm probably gonna take with me years and years and years from now, where I'm like, yeah, those are my favorite games this year. I still haven't played Spider-Man 2, okay? Don't kill me. Still haven't played Spider-Man 2. I want to play Spider-Man 2, but I was playing Alan Wake 2 so much when that came out. But I do want to check out Spider-Man 2. I know a lot of you guys said it was amazing this year. So probably that one too if I played it, but haven't got to it yet. By the way, a quick time out here, but do you like this style of content? I haven't really done a Q&A video in a long time, so I'm just kind of winging it. If you like it, if you enjoy it, let me know. Hit the like button. It really does help me out and lets me know you want more of this type of thing. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying it, because it's kind of fun to do. All right, back to the video. Haas asks, and this is for my Persona fans that have been coming into the channel, saying, interested in what you think on Persona 5 as a whole based on where you are right now, and where your thoughts now will be compared to later down the line. So this is a great question, because obviously we've been uploading a lot of Persona 5 content. It's been really fun to dive into what I think a lot of you guys basically say is a beloved classic at this point in video games that everybody should experience. Like, everybody for years was like, play Persona 5, JC, what are you doing? And so now we're finally playing it and finally seeing what it's all about. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I have so many thoughts. It's been it's been a journey. First of all, I have thoughts in the sense of, oh my God, you guys really like that content? Whoa. We've uploaded 2 Persona 5 videos now, and both have done amazing, and I just appreciate it so much. If any of you from the Persona community or my community, thank you so much for checking out that content, to every single one of you guys that did, because it's been such a fun journey, and going through the game, streaming it, it just makes it even better that people are so energized about it. But again, yeah, you're asking my thoughts. Persona 5 is very, very good. I don't know where it quite ranks in terms of like my favorite games list or anything like that, because I think I still have a long way to go. I don't want to, you know, say something that might be too early, right? I gotta wait. I gotta let it cook a little bit to see how I love it. But I do like it a lot. I love the characters. I love the combat. Like, just the turn-based combat is so addicting and so much fun. And when you get those baton passes, it just feels so right. And the characters, again, and the story and the music, just I'm vibing with. I'm really, really liking it. And it feels like a game that I definitely would have played if I had more time. And now I'm just finally brave enough to have that time for it. I will say though, something about Persona 5 on maybe more of the negative side, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to be too negative about it. But something that did catch me off guard in general was just how many tutorials and how much they really guide you through the experience at the beginning. But Persona 5 is such a big and massive game that there's so much of that at the start. Like, I wasn't sure in the first stream or so how much I was gonna like the game, because it was throwing tutorial after tutorial, and literally it keeps introducing mechanics constantly. It's like basically holding your hand for like over 10 hours at least. It's such a massive game that it does that a lot at the beginning. I kind of felt like I was getting backseated a lot. Like, you know, when people backseat on stream and they're like, JC, do this, JC, do that. It's like the game was doing that, and then chat was doing that at the beginning. And so like the first couple streams, I was like, oh God, I am a little overwhelmed. There's a lot of mechanics here. There's a lot of things going on in this video game. But then once we started getting more towards the end of Palace 1, and once we started breaking in Palace 2, I really vibed with the combat and the whole loop of the game. And I'm starting to get it now. It clicked. It clicked. It felt right. And if anybody hasn't played Persona 5, the best advice I could say is like, yeah, give it some time to reel you in. Give it some time, you know, to cook a little bit. And your patience will be rewarded, because there's so much there. And again, I think we're like 50 hours into the game, and people are saying that I'm probably gonna beat the game at like 150 hours. So we got a long road to go, a lot of content to go on that. But again, I'm happy you guys have been enjoying that because it's been so much fun. And to go along with that, Nakai, and hopefully I said that right, said, JC, will you play Persona 3 Reload when it comes out? Persona 3 is one of my favorite JRPGs. I love that. 2023 has been crazy for video games, and the fact that we already have something that's really massive for a lot of y'all coming out next year, that's just really exciting. And the best thing I can say is, I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm going to play Persona 3 Reload yet because A, I really want to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth similarly around that time, and I have to play it. You don't understand. I need to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because Remake is one of my favorite video games, and I just can't wait. But Persona 3, I think it's just going to matter if I fully enjoy the Persona 5 experience like all the way through. I'm really loving it right now, which does make me think, yeah, I'm definitely going to want to check out Persona 3 at some point. But what if I absolutely hate the last arc or something of Persona 5? Now, will that happen? Probably not. But, you know, just in case that it doesn't click with me, maybe I don't play Persona 3. I don't know. Or maybe I will. Stay tuned, I guess. Let's see how the arcs of Persona 5 go, and we'll see if we like it anymore in the future. All right, moving on from that, we got a comment from Grim saying, how do you manage to balance work, streaming, time for yourself, Winter and Ellie. Winter and Ellie are our cats, by the way. They're really cute. As a full-time student with a part-time job, I find it difficult sometimes to find that balance and schedule out plans on things I want to do. I want to get a career like you and was wondering how you balance life with a career. It's definitely a goal I want to reach in life as you've inspired me these past few years. First of all, Grim, that literally warms my heart that I can inspire you in any sort of way. Like that just brightens my day hearing that. What's so funny is that, to be honest with you, Grim, I'm right there with you. I have not fully figured this out. Even if it may seem like I have, it is definitely tough. It's a struggle. You're not alone. I've been in such a weird boat lately because there's like the side of me that really, really wants to make content and give you guys, YouTube videos like this one or streams and all that sort of thing. And then there's like the actual, okay, work day. I'm going to work. I commute to work and I come back home, commute back home. And then I'm like really, really tired. I'm like, oh God, do I want to stream? Do I want to make a video? What do I do? And then Emmy's like, hey, you want to hang out? I'm like, oh God, there's so much going on. I don't really have the answer. I'm still trying to figure it out. But something that has really, really helped me is just taking some moments to myself to tell myself, hey, buddy, JC, you don't have to do all this. Like, you don't have to stream every single weekday. Your community understands. Your community, at least I think you guys do. Your community would understand if you got to take some time off because you're really tired, right? Like, no big deal. And just trying to remind myself to lay off the gas pedal sometimes, because if you go really, really hard, sometimes that just leads to absolute burnout. And then I won't stream for like weeks and weeks and weeks because I'm just really burnt out on how many things I was trying to juggle, and it all leads to nothing. So I guess what I'm saying is just making sure that your foot is on the right pedal. I don't know if that makes any sense, but making sure you're not pushing too hard. You're not pushing yourself too hard, because it's just important to have some free time and some mental space and taking some time to yourself, just taking it easy a little bit. And yeah, just balancing that. There's been a lot of days where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take Monday or Tuesday or just some dedicated day this week just to chill, just to play some video games. And that is definitely helped, just throwing that in there, almost like a buffer day or something like that. Again, I wish I knew the answers. It's tough. I'm still trying to figure it out. Case in point, there hasn't been many videos like this one. So yeah, I hope we can figure it out together. The Lost Mario Bros says, what is your favorite game that would most benefit from a complete remake? A complete remake. Not a fake remake, a complete one. I'm just gonna throw out the first gut feeling here. Halo 3, okay? Halo 3, although I think Halo 3 is pretty damn perfect, what I would love to see is just, honestly, like, you could just keep everything the same about Halo 3, to be honest. So I'm kind of defeating the point of your question here, because you don't have to remake all of it. But just give me the Halo 2 anniversary cutscene treatment to Halo 3. Like, Halo 3, the gameplay, the world, the environment, all of it holds up super well. But the cutscenes nowadays, oh my God, could we get Blur to do the cutscenes like they did with Halo 2? Like, just let me have that. Like, let me in my life have the most cinematic movie-like cutscene version of Halo 3, because even just playing the trilogy and getting those amazing cutscenes in Halo 2 Anniversary that just astound you. I like when you jump over to Halo 3 and you see it that's not there, it's like, come on, can I see Arbiter and Chief back to back, like in a full cinematic glory? Like, although it looks amazing back in the day, I know it does, but it's 2007. I would love to see it get just a remake in terms of the cutscenes department. Also, just gonna throw out another one here that I think we can all agree on. Bloodborne. Where is the Bloodborne remake? I don't know, but I want to know. Where is it, man? Moving on from that, Mala Ori says, hey JC, wanted to know about life as a dev and a content creator. More specifically, how has being a dev made your view of games change over time? So this one's such a good one because it changed everything. Like, I appreciate games so much more now. And it's not that I didn't appreciate them before, because I did, but there's just a lot of things that you notice about games, and then your mind goes to not only how did they make this, but also what were the meetings that took place to make this happen? Because that is absolutely a thing that happens, right? Like, for something to happen on the screen, for something to happen that you play through, there had to be so many conversations about it, so many back and forths, and, you know, people disagreeing, people agreeing, you know, like all across the whole thing. And with something like Alan Wake 2, for instance, I talked about Alan Wake 2 earlier, but there's so many things in that game where I just look at it and I'm like, oh my God, you guys really went for this. And what did everybody think when you first presented this, you know, in a meeting? And what were the conversations that led to you guys doing like a whole musical segment, you know, like stuff like that with Alan Wake 2? Like, how did that happen? And oh my God, did that almost get cut from the game? Like, I love thinking about those conversations. But then on a more actual, you know, gameplay level, I think something for me, especially doing a lot of design work nowadays, is that there's so many things in video games where I'll play it on stream with you guys and something will happen to me, or I'll be led down a certain path, and I just sort of look at you guys and I'm like, oh my God, did you see how they led me to do that? Did you see how this mechanic interacted with this mechanic in a really cool way? And it just made me feel really good as a player. Like, I love thinking about the design aspects of a game and how it makes me feel. And I like breaking that down a lot more. It's really, really fun to think about, you know, how are the devs pushing me through the content that I'm playing? How are the devs leading me towards a certain aspect or certain location? And I don't know, that's the stuff that keeps me up, man. I love thinking about that stuff. And it is the stuff that I kind of do now. So it's really, really cool having that experience. And I guess, yeah, it changed everything for me. Ultier says, what are a few game series you're interested in trying? Could either be on stream or off stream. Would love to know your thoughts on what video games are on your mind. So, a couple things. Really, really want to play Spider-Man 2, because that is one that is in my backlog as, oh my God, we have to do this, but I just have not found the time to do it, especially because we're doing Persona 5 and we play a lot of Alan Wake 2 as well. But other than that, something off stream that I want to do, believe it or not, is Sea of Stars. I've heard so many good things about Sea of Stars, and I would just love to have a little game like that I could just play in bed or on the couch, just in my like off time, and just vibe to the good music, vibe to the really, really pretty art style and the amazing mechanics that I've heard it has. And yeah, I would say Sea of Stars. I really, really want to try that game. Everybody that I've talked to says that it's a must play this year and should be on like Game of the Year list, which I'm like, yo, what? That's crazy. That's awesome. So I definitely want to try that out soon. And also, of course, this wouldn't be a video if I didn't say it, Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is one that I want to play. Still haven't played it yet, but I've heard all the good things, of course. I mean, it has a high chance of winning Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And I want to know why. And I do know some reasons why from what everybody's been talking about, but I definitely want to check it out on my end and just give it a go. Whether that's on or off stream, I'm still not sure yet, but I've always wanted to get into D&D. Like, that's been something I've really, really wanted to do, but I've never done it. And I've heard that Baldur's Gate is an excellent, excellent thing to sort of get you into that realm of things, I guess. It just sounds like something I'd really like, especially if I like good storytelling and really fun characters and really fun dynamics. I know I would like it. That's the thing. I know I would like it. I just have not had the time to do so. But it is on my list. It's one of the big priorities, I would say. Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Sea of Stars. Those are the 3 of games I want to play on and off stream. Edge, my boy Edge, says, what do you personally think a live service game needs to survive in the crowded landscape? Oh boy, it is awfully getting crowded out there. It really, really is. I really, really love when a live service game respects my time as a player. And I know that seems kind of vague, but just hear me out. I want to see what you guys think. There are some live service games out there where they go so fast in terms of the content that they're putting out, and they're doing it at such a speed where if you don't make that game your absolute life, you feel left out at times. You feel a little bit like overwhelmed at times, right? It's like, oh my God, we're adding this and this and this and this, and we're doing this, and oh my gosh, you had to be there for that event. And it's like, sometimes that end of the live service side can be really, really overwhelming for someone who doesn't have time to play that every single day. And then on the other side, there's live service games that feel like they are wasting your time a little bit. I don't want to, it sounds kind of bad to say that, but like there's some live service games where I can tell that they extended the content so far and so wide to just take up as much of my time as possible. And when I feel that as a player, when I feel the stretch of the content to the point where I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. That's when it kind of takes me out of it a little bit as well. The new Modern Warfare Zombies mode, Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, is a really, really good example of that, that feeling that I'm talking about. It has a really, really fun zombies mode. Like, the gameplay is super fun. Playing with your friends and finding other squads in the world and doing these missions, it's a blast. Like, you can go in there and chill and have a pretty good time. But I definitely, when I was playing it, I felt the sort of energy of, oh my God, they're really stretching out my playtime to get to certain things. And the best example of that is I didn't even see a single cutscene of story yet for Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. The actual Act 1 story beat, I have no idea still what it is, because they locked it behind like 15 hours of doing missions in the world. And I'm like over 10 hours and I still haven't gotten there. And I'm like, man, I really want to like see the story. I really want to experience it, but I feel like they made it a grind. They made it a grind. And for me, as someone who doesn't have as much time as I used to, it's tough. It's a tough feeling to put so many hours and so many hours just to see one story cutscene. When every time I play it, Emmy's downstairs and she's like, hey, can we watch a movie? Like, can we go to the movie theater and like see Five Nights at Freddy's or something? Like, why are you on hour 20 of this grind right now? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. As I'm getting older and I'm, having to take care of more things and having more and more responsibilities, it definitely can be felt sometimes how long of a grind a game can be. And so I like somewhere in the middle, I guess, is my answer. I like somewhere in the middle where I feel like it respects my time. I feel like I can come back to it and not miss out too much. And I can also see the content that's there. And I would say a game that does that really, really well is Final Fantasy XIV, the MMO. Like, the fact that you can still do all of the story missions and none of them are gone from the game or anything like that. They're still there. You can just do main story and just treat it like a book and come back to it whenever you want. And it just feels good. Like, I just like how Final Fantasy XIV feels. I don't know. So we have one last question from Oliver saying, which game or games excites/inspires you the most and why? This one, I'm going to give you a very specific answer. I really like games that are so confident in letting you discover things for yourself. And it's very inspiring when they do it, because you're like, whoa, you had the confidence to put this feature in or put this aspect in the game, and a player might miss it, or a player might maybe not even understand how it works right away. But if they do, that discovery feeling and that experience just will go such a long way to their player journey. And there's a lot of games that have done that in the last year or so that I think just inspire me so much. Like, Tears of the Kingdom did this a lot, right? There's so many moments in that game where I was like, whoa, they didn't even talk about this before it came out, and they did it. They really went there. Elden Ring is like the epitome of this, right? Of course, for fans of the channel, classic Call of Duty Zombies back in the day was all about discovering and telling your friends what you found, and it felt like a little sandbox where there's all these little secrets that just like, oh my God, they didn't do a quest there. Oh yeah, they did. There was a boss fight. Like, whoa, like what? Like that feeling, right? Those are the games that inspire me so much. I think that a really good game that I highly recommend that does this in the best way ever, to be honest, is Outer Wilds, okay? Go play Outer Wilds. Don't even ask me why. Don't even look up anything about it. Just go play Outer Wilds. Like, I'm literally gonna tell my editor, don't even put Outer Wilds gameplay on the screen because it ruins it. Like, just play the game without knowing anything and you'll love it. If you love games that let you discover things and that discovery feeling with the story and the gameplay and the world, go play Outer Wilds, okay? Outer Wilds. Not Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds. Outer Worlds is a good game too, but Outer Wilds is what I'm talking about. Go play it. You won't regret it. That wraps up the Q&A for today. Guys, if you enjoyed this content, if you enjoyed just hearing me ramble and talk about all sorts of gaming stuff, leave a like. It really helps me out. It lets me know that you like this style of video, and I definitely would be down to do more if you guys want. And as always, thank you so much for checking out the content. Whether you've been here for years or you're here in the last couple of months due to the Persona stuff, it's been a lovely pleasure to have you guys here, and I hope to see you guys for more stuff in the future. I love talking about games. I love talking about experiences that I'm playing on stream, and love talking about just everything in this industry, really. So yeah, if you want more content like this, if you want more Q&As or specific things you want to ask me, leave them down in the comments below if you want, and let me know what you are curious about. This has been me, JC. Once again, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.